Shalom, yalad, Thawadah Yahweh, kayaYasharaal, Bahasham Hamashak, Shamar Yasharala Yahweh, wayalaryam, Isaiah, wayalaryam, Barakatah Yahweh, kayaYasharaal, Bahasham Hamashak, Thawadah Kal Yahweh, wayalaryam Yahweh, Thawadah Dabar, Sapar, Gadol Yad, Thawadah. That is to say, greetings and good evening, Israel. Thank you, Yahweh, in the name of your only begotten Son, for protecting us forevermore. Thank you for your word, your great arm, your strong arm, and this book. Thank you for being our help forevermore. Our Father, Yahweh, in the name of your only begotten Son, YahawaShai, forever and ever. Blessings to the four corners of Israel that has been scattered abroad. It is abundantly beautiful, and I feel abundantly thrilled to be on this evening. Let's go ahead and time step this day. Hebraic timekeeping. Today is the 18th day of the first Hebrew month. We are in the Passover month, or the month of the Feast of Unleavened Breads. So thank you to the Most High God of Israel for allowing us to see this day, to see this moment. It is the 6th day of the work week, so we are in the eve of the Shabbat. Don't forget, you need to use this day to prepare for the Shabbat so that we are ceasing all manner of work and resting when the time comes. Gregorian timekeeping, today is April 25th of 2024 on a Thursday evening at 10 p.m. Central Standard, and it's about 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Not too cold, not too hot. It's warm enough. Lovely, beautiful day. I want to go ahead and get right into blessing the four corners, blessing our brothers and our sisters. So if we could ensure that we are facing the east from Jerusalem, so that we're throwing up this blessing and the Most High hears us. And any of my sisters that may be present, please ensure that your heads are covered. We don't want to bring shame to our head. You know that your head belongs to the man, which belongs to YahawaShai, which belongs to Yahweh, the Most High God of Israel. And to any of my brothers that may be listening, please ensure that the crown of your head is uncovered. For your head belongs to YahawaShai, which belongs to Yahweh. We have to keep the perfect order. With further ado, let us go ahead and bless the four corners in our native tongue, Ibaya, or as a lot of us may call it, Paleo Hebrew. Thank you. Yahweh, Bahasham, YahawaShai, Barak, Lanawa, wayasharaal, Wahabayat Sapayam. Yahweh, Bahasham, YahawaShai, Barakatah. Yahweh, Bahasham, YahawaShai, Shamar Atah. To my predominant English speakers, this is to say, Yahweh, in the name of YahawaShai, bless to us and Israel and the schools. Yahweh, in the name of YahawaShai, bless you. Yahweh, in the name of YahawaShai, watch over you. Amen. I'm very thrilled to be on, and I want to jump right into it. I don't want to hold you all too long. I'm not necessarily certain if we're going to hit all the verses that are in this particular chapter, which is 31 verses, or if we'll hit the first 1 through 10. It depends, and we'll go as the Lord wills. We're going to be in a chamber of wisdom, which we haven't visited in quite some time. This is the basic canon without the Apocrypha. I am reading from a KJV, 1611. We're going to be in the book of Proverbs, chapter 31. Now, I absolutely love this particular chapter. It is a great chapter in attaining a level of womanness, scriptural womanness. And I also, in addition, like to look at it as a twofold. I like to look at everything in the scriptures as manifold, not just one way, unless it's specifically one way. But there are some things in the scriptures that are manifold, which have a flesh carnal meaning as well as a spiritual meaning. So as we as sisters are attempting to attain this womanness, this virtuous womanness, we as a nation need to all attain this wisdom and wisdom, this wise wisdom, if that makes sense. So I want to go ahead and jump into it. Please make sure that you have your KJV on hand. That's the only type of Bible I have. It's the only type of Bible that I reference from. And I also wanted to say that chapter 31 is what you, or us, sisters of Zion, it's what we are aiming for. But it is not presumptuous to say that this is who you are, because we know that this is not any of us. This is our goal, pound or hashtag goals. This is what we are attempting to attain. This is what we are working toward. So you can't necessarily say that this is you, right? Let's start in verse 1. So chapter 31, verse 1 in the book of Proverbs, it reads, "The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him." Now, I like this particular verse and how it opens up into what we are going to be going into, because I like the portion that says the prophecy that his mother taught him. This lets us know that, for one thing, this is a wise woman. It's a wise woman, and this is a woman that's teaching her son. And I believe, in accordance with the scriptures, but I'm just paraphrasing it, as it said in the scriptures, it's the truth that sets you free. In order for you to know the truth, you have to be taught, right? And if someone teaches you, that means they love you. Come over here to Leviticus chapter 19, and this is going to be verse 17 through 18. It says, "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I, the Lord." When you're teaching someone, or we're teaching one another, that is a sign of love. If you have friends, family, associates, brethren, sisters that are nigh unto you, that are not teaching you, encouraging you to aspire to be who you need to be through teaching you, they don't love you. In being taught, you learn how to be a better you. It is not to change who you are. If you are goofy, eccentric, and silly, that's who you are. So it's not to change your eccentric silliness or goofiness. If you're serious, laid back, mellow, it's not to change your mellow, laid back seriousness. It's to improve who you are as a person. So when someone is teaching you, it's because they love you. Only if that teaching be to improve or better you. You don't want to take counsel from someone that's just giving you counsel to see how it works out for you. That's not love. That's evil. And I'm quite certain that the majority of us have experienced that. And given that, I hope that we are all Israelites that are listening to this particular voiceover, this teaching, this biblical or scriptural reading. I can quite assume that the majority of us have experienced being friends or nigh to someone who is quote unquote teaching you or giving you counsel that not even themselves would listen to. We want to be a part of the 1/3, the few, right, that are striving at the straight gate. So we're going to teach one another goodly things so that we see each other improve. It's not a challenge. I apologize. It's not a competition. That's not what it is. It is a race that we are all running. Only one can get in at a time. But in the meantime, that is what we are supposed to do. We're supposed to be teaching one another. So I absolutely love this verse. This mother is teaching her son. And not only that, when we take into consideration the things of today, how mothers are today, especially, and I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Israelite mothers, they're not good mothers. And the more time evolves, the worse they become. I didn't grow up in a goodly household. I think I've expressed that to you all many times. I've never gone into detail about anything that had occurred in my household or, the household that I was brought up in. But I've seen a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of things. But the more the times evolve, technology, media, wickedness, the hearts of those waxing cold and worse, and get much, much worse. Israelite mothers are like ostriches. They're horrible mothers. I'm not saying all of them are, because I know we have some very goodly Israelite mothers. But I say the majority are. So I also want to pinpoint and touch on that. So we have the words of King Lemuel. Now, this word Lemuel, I found in the Blue Letter Bible Concordance. It is found under H3929, which means belonging to God or for God. Now, what I thought was pretty amazing and cool, I was also listening to some insight on this particular chapter from a congregation that I formerly listened to. And I found that in Numbers 3:24, if we all take a moment to turn here. Hold on just a second. Numbers 3:24 reads, "And the chief of the house of the father of the Gershonites, Eliasaph, the son of Lael." That word Lael is H30, I think it's 3815. Let me just verify. Just a second. Yes, it's H3815. It too means belonging to God. So I just thought it was pretty cool because these two names have very similar meanings. And in addition to that, I thought it was pretty neat to even understand whom it is that's writing this chapter, because we know that not all of Proverbs is written by Solomon, King Solomon, right? If we come to same book, this is Proverbs chapter 25, verse 1. It reads, "These also Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied out." So it's letting you know that Hezekiah wrote the Proverbs in chapter 25. So I thought that was pretty amazing to be able to reference whom it is that wrote the chapters or that specific portion of the book that we are in. So let's go ahead and reread verse 1 with the understanding that we have currently gained. It reads again, "The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. Verse 2, it reads, "What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows." Now, as a woman striving to attain the virtue that's mentioned and spoken about and described in this chapter, while reading this, you try your hardest to become one with this word. You want to become like the word. And when I read verse 2, it seemed very intimate to me. It seemed very endearing to me. These sounded like words from a beautiful woman. A woman with gorgeous, melanated skin, natural, beautiful, luscious, thick, greasy hair, beautiful eyes that are white like milk, white teeth, garments that are clean, smell sweet like myrrh and cinnamon, with feet that are smooth, not cutting you or not tearing up the satin sheets, with a natural aroma from just her skin. That's how I pictured it. Talking to this man that she once carried in her womb. It was very endearing and intimate to me when I first read it. It seemed like she was entreating him with these words, letting it be known that she loves her son. And that is something very important that Israelite women have to work harder on doing. Despite what you were doing when you were partaking in the world, I know some of us have children from when we partook in the world. Some of us may have children by different men when we partook in the world. Sometimes some of those men got you feeling like you really were loved by them and impregnated you and left you in accordance with the curses. And the hatred that you had for him, you seem to misdirect toward your own child. And now you're treating your child with hatred, and it's like your travail was in vain. Come over here. I believe that I know that is a verse. Give me a second. Y'all, I'm devastated because it's like I have these phenomenal precepts that are popping into my head, but I know like where they are in my mind, but I can't get to them. But we'll find it. We'll keep going, and Lord willing, He'll call to my remembrance where it is. But coming back to what I was saying, a lot of these mothers, it's like your travail was in vain. You go through hours and hours of labor, and as a doula and a fertility and birth practitioner and a midwife, and witnessing the travail of a mother, you're in great pain, a lot of pain. Your body is literally pushing another body, expelling another body from your body. So the scripture says that it's like your travail or your labor was in vanity. It was in vain. You have no attachment to this child. You have no attachment to their emotions, and when they're hurting, when they're uneasy in spirit, you're likened unto an ostrich, and you lack wisdom. So when I read this verse, she sounded like a very sweet mother, a mother that deserves praise, a mother that I would have loved to have. I didn't have a good example of a mother. But thank the Lord for the law that says to honor thy father and thy mother, because you still have to honor them despite how they treated you. So I come back to say that these words are words of endearment, entreating her son, confirming with her son that she loves him. She wanted him. The pregnancy meant something to her. The travail meant something to her. Him passing from her matrix and dropping between her knees to suckle on her pap. The cries at night, the swaddling, the changing of the diapers, the growing, the teething. That first scrape you get on your knee and you crying, like that meant something to her. She has an attachment, a motherly attachment to her son. I love this verse. So let's reread verse 2 one more time. It says, "What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows." We as Israelite mothers, we have to learn how to speak to our children. You have to learn how to speak to your children, whether your child be male or female. You have to learn how to better speak to your child. Your child or children remembers everything that you say to him or her. Everything. Especially the things that cause them grief. I don't mean to seem too personal. I remember everything that caused grief and trauma and sadness and anguish to my spirit that was spoken from the sepulchre type of throat from the guardian that I had growing up. I lived life thinking I was ugly, too skinny, useless, all kinds of things. Stupid, dumb, all of that. And then to the males, it's not a good example of how a woman that they choose to lie down with, to give their seed to, it's not a good example of how she should treat him or talk to him or be towards him. Because he gets so used to the mean words and the deadly words that you speak to him. So he doesn't know goodly words. It's hurtful to males and females. You can't hate the father of your child and then dump that hatred toward their father onto the child. It's not that child's fault. And it makes absolutely no sense. Those are hurtful things. And we have to use our words to help one another, to build one another up, to edify one another. Come over here to the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 21, which we should know this. It's like an anthem. It says, "Death and life in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof." You have to be cautious at what you say to your children, to your husband, even to yourself. There is power in your words, in mere words. So you have to be very cautious at the things that you say. If you have to be quiet to avoid saying anything, so be it. I've learned that that's my best defense. When I feel like I want to say something mean that I know I'm not going to be able to take back, because it's better for a man to slip on a pavement than to slip with his tongue. So I've found that it's much better that I just get quiet and not say anything. To some people, they get upset. Why are you not saying anything? Say something. Reassure me. Say something. Well, I know that the best thing for me to do right now is not to say anything. So it's better to be quiet and not say anything if you don't have nothing nice to say than to scar and destroy someone with your mere words. You can take back, the slipping on a pavement, and that bruise can be healed and it'll go away and you won't remember it. But words, man, it replays over and over again in your head. And then the emotions that came with it, it keeps replaying, and you keep feeling it over and over again. That's why I love that verse that says it's better to slip on a pavement than with your tongue. That means something. So we as sisters, as a whole, we got to work on how we speak to our children and our men. Let's move on to verse 3. It says, "Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings." This is important for us as sisters, especially for some of the sisters that are coming out of the world into the faith. It's important that you understand that your man's life is not the worldly proverb, happy wife, happy life. It's more like, happy man, a house will stand. Now, that's not to say that you are supposed to walk around on eggshells, pins, and needles. That's not to say that your emotions are worthless. That's not to say that your presence and your existence means nothing. That's not what it's to say. That's to say that we have to learn our proper ranks and roles as a man and a woman. So a man doesn't want to give his strength over to a woman in a sense of, you don't want your life to encompass pleasing a woman. I learned a worldly saying from an old friend of mine in the world some time ago. And he said to me, out of his somehow years of being alive on this earth, he realizes that women cannot be pleased. And he was like, that's because y'all have a hole that's never filled. What, if you catch the drift there. And I thought about it, and I'm like, as stupid as that sounds, that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. It's stupid, but it does make sense. So that's to circle back and say, it's not wise as a man to encompass your life around attempting to please a woman. Now, that is not to say that her happiness should not mean anything to you. That as long as you're happy, that's enough. That's not what that's saying. It is to say you shouldn't be one of those brothers where, okay, you're working somehow hours and you're working and you're tired. You're working all of these hours because she says she want the bag, or she want bundles and all of the foolishness, or she want to go take this trip to Jamaica, or to, wherever, to the islands. And you overworking yourself. You tired, barely making ends meet, but this is what she want, like that. You don't want to do foolishness like that. You don't want to encompass your life around trying to please someone else, because hell is never full. Just like the eye is never satisfied. So it has to be done in moderation. Again, it's not to say that you should not want to please or make your woman happy. That's not what it's saying. It's not to say that if you want this woman, don't chase that woman. If you want that woman, you can chase that woman. Now, this is not to say if she's playing hard to get, and she's playing hard to get, and it's a possibility she's dealing with other men. Not like that. Not the foolishness. But if you have a good thing, it's worth a chase. Because once you get it, it's yours forever. So it's about balance and proper understanding. And I hope that you're catching my drift when I'm speaking. Because I'm not saying that you're supposed to encompass your life around making a woman happy. Nevertheless, I have definitely noticed, and this is just me speaking as a woman and from things that I have personally noticed that I see and others do as well. A lot of men in this practice have begun to think that just because you can be with multiple women and it's not something that's shunned in this practice, that it doesn't matter how you treat one woman. Well, if that doesn't work, you can get another one. That's how a lot of men have become in this practice. It's selfish and it's disgusting, because you will miss out on a very good thing because you're trying to please your leadership, or you're trying to please men that want what you have, and trying to secretly sabotage what you have, and you're foolish enough to listen and take that cancel. So it has to be done in moderation. It is okay if you want that woman, get that woman, as long as you're not idolizing that woman, as long as this woman is not encouraging you to stop following the law of the Most High, as long as this woman is not taken away from the time that you need to serve your God. Get that woman. Get you a wife that is like-minded as you. But you do not want your life to be encompassed around trying to please mere mortal man. That's not what your existence is about. Your existence is about worshiping your God. Come over here to the book of Revelation, chapter 4, verse 11. It reads, "Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power. For thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created." So we were created for the pleasure of the Most High, not for the pleasuring of one another, the idolizing of one another, the partaking in the foolishness of the world. You were created for the pleasure of the Most High, and your whole duty as man and woman is to keep the commandments. So things must be done in moderation. And to the sisters, you should never try to encourage a man to turn from his God. That's a heathen way of thinking. You should never encourage a man to feel like he has to chase you. And you know you may not treat him right, or you know you may not actually really want him. You should not encourage him to waste his time in trying to please you when you know that that's not what you want. You have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be honest with him. Your role as a woman is to be a helpmeet. You need to be of like mind with that man. You have to encourage that. We have the only man on this earth that every nation of man and woman wants. It's disgusting to say. Every nation outside of Israel wants our man, just like every nation outside of Israel wants our woman. We are the only nation on this earth that has the man that every nation on this earth wants to be like, look like, sound like, have swag like, smell like. Because I mean, our brothers smell good naturally. Lord in Christ, they smell delicious. And then on top of that, we have the only man on this earth that is extremely hated. And you have to be able to build him up and be the pillar that supports him. You should never encourage him to live his life like you are the thing that he revolves around. You should want a man that teaches you, leads you righteously, guides you, chastens you, corrects you, but more importantly, loves you. We have to do right as a whole. We have to do our role. As a woman, we are powerful. There's another chamber of wisdom that expresses power or strength in rank. And we know that the first thing that's the most powerful or has the most strength is truth. The second thing that's most powerful or has the most strength is the woman. The third thing that is most powerful or has most strength is the king. And the last thing that is most powerful or has the most strength is strong drink. Sisters, we come after truth. That's how powerful you are. And I know y'all know the worldly saying, the PUSSY, power. But I'd be a fool if I didn't sit here and tell you there's truth in it. You got a lot of power. It's the femininity that's so powerful. A man will go to war behind you. That's how powerful it is. There is literally a law in the book of Numbers about jealousy. A man that has jealousy against his wife because of the thought or the thought process that she may be sleeping with someone else. That would drive a man nuts. Especially if he's in love with you. I have a brother. I have 4 brothers, but one of my brothers, I've watched them grow up, and I've watched how they interact with women and things of that nature. Men love hard. So you have a duty as a woman to do righteously toward your man, toward your brother. Because at the end of the day, though he is your man, he's also your brother. And he's possibly someone else's brother. Like fleshy, seriously. You know, he has siblings. We have to do right by one another. So again, verse 3, give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Don't put your energy into a character contrary to our customs, to our ways, to be like your oppressor. You have to remain set apart, my brothers. That's you not giving your ways over to that which destroyed the king. Our nation is built upon, first of all, the law of the Most High, but it's made up of kings and priests. That's very holy. So you can't have a worldly mind frame or mindset in your thoughts. This is spoken about in John. It's actually like 1 John. And this is chapter 2, verse 15. It says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. And we can keep going, but we can stop there. There's also another scripture that says that, let's see here. It's in James chapter 4, verse 4. It says, ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of the Most High God. So we come from a nation of kings and priests. Our thought process, our ways, the way that we walk, the way that we act, it has to be diverse from the world. That's you not giving your way over to that which destroyed the king. You can never be a king if you deal falsely. If you treat your brethren like they're irrelevant or holding them in contempt. And I believe you catch the drift at this point. Let's reread verse 3. It says, give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Verse 4. It says, and I'll include the italics. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink. My people, this is not saying that you cannot have alcohol or strong drink or wine. That's not what that's saying. It's informing that when you are indulging in the consumption of strong drink, wine, alcohol, that it must be done in moderation. You don't want to get so lifted up in the spirit that you become courageous. You want to be in there fighting everybody. Now everything that's on your heart is coming out. You sound like a fool. You perverse in the law because you done forgot the law. You don't even know how to act no more, or you're throwing up, done fell passed out outside. You don't want to get sloppy, quote unquote, white girl wasted. It's supposed to be done in moderation. Wine is goodly for the man and woman. When I say the man, I speak mankind. Wine and strong drink, it's goodly for us. That's a reward from a hard day's work, The foolishness that we undergo in this world. It's not bad. It's only bad when you're doing too much, when you don't know how to do it in moderation. Come over here to Ecclesiasticus, which is also known as Sirach, chapter 31, and we'll read verses 25 through 27. They read, shew not thy valiantness in wine, for wine hath destroyed many. The furnace proveth the edge by dipping, so doth wine the hearts of the proud by drunkenness. Wine is as good as life to a man, if it be drunk moderately. What life is then to a man that is without wine? For it was made to make man glad. Do y'all know what this word valiantness means? That means like courageous, more bold, confident. So it says, shew not thy valiantness in wine, for wine had destroyed many. I just got done saying just a moment ago, those people that be ready to fight, acting foolish. You're ready to let everything that's been on your mind out. You don't want to get like that when you're drinking. Those type of people are very annoying to be around. You're scared. You don't know what kind of trouble this person's going to get you in. And then if you've ever been that person, you know how embarrassing it is when you wake up the next day and hear what you've done, or if someone's videotaped you or recorded you and you see what you've done, and you know that that's not something that you would have done if you were in sober mind. It's embarrassing. But you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I speak from experience. I speak from experience, and I laugh and giggle because I know I can never be that way again. But I speak from experience. You wake up embarrassed, like, oh my God, what? I said what? I did what? No! Oh my God, gotta apologize, and it's bad, and then people, it's horrible. You don't want to become valiant in your wine intake, so you gotta drink it moderately. In verse 26, it says that the furnace proveth the edge by dipping, so doth wine the hearts of the proud of gosh. Let's reread that again. The furnace proveth the edge by dipping, so doth wine the hearts of the proud by drunkenness. So just as a furnace tries the elements that are placed inside of it, so too, if you allow it, that's what strong drink will do to you. It does that to the mind of those who are lifted, right? So your mind is proved in drunkenness. And I can guarantee you are not going to win when it comes to the strong drink. It's like it take over. It be so strong on you. I know if I have anyone who's gotten excessively drunken, you get to that point where you're praying, Lord, I promise I won't ever drink like. That's how you know it's over. It's over. You never going to win when it comes to dealing with the strong drink. So you have to consume moderately, consume wisely. It says wine is as good as life to a man if it be drunk moderately. What life is then to a man that is without wine? For it was made to make man glad. It's okay to drink. It's okay to drink. Just do it moderately. Let's move on down to the next verse in verse 5 of Proverbs in chapter 31. It says, "Lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts." We just spoke about that. You don't want to get too excessive. You don't want to excessively drink to where you begin to perverse your ways. I've never experienced this per se, but I've heard a lot of females that have gotten so intoxicated that you've slept with someone and you wake up, don't know what happened. I've heard a story of a woman that got excessively drunk and she got raped. I know you all remember not too long ago, here in where I live, there was a woman across the way from me. Her husband was out. I believe he was still at work that evening, and she was out partying very late at night with two of her friend girls. And it was about 4 o'clock in the morning, if I remember correctly. 4 o'clock in the morning. It was very late outside. And all I heard was drunken slurs and bumping into walls and things like that. And so I'm concerned about my car, and I happen to look out the window, and I see one, she's excessively drunk, done passed out on the ground, and her friends are smaller than she is, so they couldn't pick her up. And I had pity on my sister. Northern Kingdom sister Issachar, right? I had pity on her. I put on my clothes and went outside and picked the woman up and brought her upstairs into her home. And you know what happened the following morning? She was apologizing. Embarrassment. Her dress was all up. Boob was falling out. But the only thing that I could think, I don't want anyone to pass through here and see her like this. I'm my sister's keeper. I don't know her personally. But if that were me, which is not, thank the Lord, I would want someone to have that same compassion on me. That's of my nation. Because I love my people like I love myself. Her husband was like, man, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's fine. It happens. It happens. You just don't want to do that all the time. I never looked at her any differently. Never treated her any differently. But it happens. So, you know, you don't want to begin to perverse your ways and pervert your judgment and pervert how you are as a person when you become intoxicated. And that's when you're taking an excessive drink and not being moderate in your intake. Let's read verse 7. It says, "Let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more." Now this verse right here, is defining to you how it is. Let me see how to word this. This verse right here helps you to understand the extent of being merry, right? So they're saying, let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. This is the rosy cheek, eyes, flame of fire type of a merry feeling. But you are still not drunk. Your stomach don't hurt. You don't have that urge to vomit. It's like you feel a little warm inside. You're like, man, like I feel good. You can still operate. You're still even possibly able to operate machinery. You can still operate. You go in there and cook if you're a sister. Still keep the household in order as a sister or even as a brother. You can still go out there, cut the grass, fix whatever was broken. In there sporting with your wife, sporting with the children, having fun with your family. That is the extent of the merry. You're not supposed to get to where you throwing up or you mad as a man. You mad. Your wife did this and you remember this. Then you come on beating her up, beating on the children, and I'm laughing. It's not funny. That's a nervous reaction that I get, or sometimes when I'm like, it's a defense mechanism. So when I'm laughing, it's not necessarily at the situation, my people. It's a defense mechanism. That's not funny, but these are things that I have witnessed. That's why I'm saying it. And it's like, dang, like I really saw that, you know? But as a man, you don't want to be so intoxicated that you're coming in, you're beating on your wife, beating up on the children. You see what I'm saying? Or as a woman, you've slept around on your husband because you're mad at him, or you're doing things. You don't want to get that intoxicated. Drink moderately. Drink moderately. It's really just that simple. You won't feel bad later on. You won't be embarrassed later on. Your skirt is not lifted, and your nakedness and privately parts are not exposed. Those who have ears, let them hear. You're enjoying life. Let's move on down to verse 8. It says, "Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction." This is the type of man. This is the prophecy that the mother of Lemuel is teaching him. You got to be a goodly man, a goodly brother to your nation. You better speak on behalf of your people. Don't sit back when you see bad is happening to your people. Come over here to Leviticus 19:16. And what's so amazing about this particular verse in Proverbs chapter 31, this verse 8, this is actually when I ran into Leviticus 19:11 and was convicted when I expressed to you all that was the verse that changed my life. Yeah, this is when it happened. But Leviticus 19:16, it reads, "Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord." You have to stand up for your people. That's one thing that I know as a woman, once I do become married, that I do not want. I do not want a weak husband that cannot stand up for his people. Now, it's a difference between standing up for your people and being a mat and just allowing your people to do whatever they want to do, and you just taking the blame and the security for it all the time. It's a difference. It's a big difference. But I desire gravely a man that loves his people as he loves himself. And there is a lot of responsibility as a woman, I know, that will come with that desire. But to bring it back to the scripture or this verse here, you have to open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. This mother is teaching her son to judge righteously, to deal righteously, to deal with equity. Don't have any respecter of persons. Don't respect those that have more money than the poor more than you would. Don't respect one that has riches more than you would someone who does not have many riches or is poor. You treat them the same. You be fair. And you stand up for the cause of your people. She's speaking as a mother that knows the law. She's speaking as a mother that has taught her son the law. So since you know this law, you better walk it out and you better apply it. Don't be out there playing these games. You better despise your members for the very law of the Most High God. So not only is she a feminine mother, when we went into verse 2, she has to also be a mother, a woman with a manly stomach and womanly thoughts. Because being an Israelite woman is not easy. Just like it's not easy being an Israelite man, it's not easy being an Israelite woman. We are afflicted just as much, but on a level as a woman. So teaching her son what's righteous to do and holding him accountable, that takes a lot. This mother is making sure, hey, look, when I die, when I give up the ghost, I want to make sure I leave you some jewels. And you listen to what I'm telling you and wear them like ornaments about the neck. And don't take them off. Let's move down to verse 9. It says, "Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy." Same thing. Same thing. You need to speak up when you see your people are in need. Not pull out your camera. Not recording. That's so stupid. You need to speak up when you see your people are in need. Come over here to the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 4. It says, "But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked." She wants her son to do righteously. She knows that her son knows this law. Come over here to same book, Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 17. It says, "Learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow." She wants her son to deal righteously. When the Most High looks down and is viewing her son and judging her as a mother, did you tell him what's right to do and what's not right to do? Did you leave this son of yours with remembrance of my law and how I expect him to be as a man? Not only are men raising the children, whether you be male or female, the mothers are raising the children as well. Contrary to popular belief, the woman is the mother. The mother is the first teacher of the child. That teaching starts from the womb. Pregnancy is such a sacred thing. It's such a special thing. It's such a beautiful thing. You're literally developing an entire human being, all the way from the nervous system deep, from Adam deep, and I'm saying ATOM, not ADAM. The nervous system is incorporated. Do you know what happens when a mother is in distress while pregnant? Nervous while pregnant, frightened when pregnant. Hungry when she's pregnant. Do you know how this impacts the baby? The mother is the first teacher of the baby, of that child. We're not going to get too deep into that. I'll end up turning into a midwife on y'all. But that's just to say it's not just the man that's teaching the children. He's enforcing it, disciplinarian, the strong arm, but the mother's the first teacher. This mother is making sure she's teaching her child, her son, how to be. Not just letting him go out in that world and getting played and looking stupid and embarrassing, an embarrassment to her. She want to make sure that she's doing right by her son in the eyes of the Most High. This is a jewel that the Most High gives these mothers. And some of us don't even care. We cast them at the snout of a swine. And they get trampled all over. Having the blessing of having a child as big, this mother is teaching her son. Let's go down to, actually, we're gonna stop this particular teaching here, and we will resume at a later time in verse 10. I'm gonna go ahead and get this up to you all because we are coming up on the 59th minute. So I'm going to stop right here. I appreciate you all so much for staying tuned and listening to this scriptural reading. It means so much to me. I have missed you all dearly, and I look to be on much more frequently than I have been. I'm graciously thankful for this opportunity that the Lord has given me, and I will be back as Yahweh wills. I'm going to go ahead and start this voice recording. I will be present, but I will not be on camera, of course. I love you all, and I thank you all so much. Stay passionate and fervor and fire-filled in your walk. I'll see you all in just a moment. Remember, Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Never cease prayer. Bind the loose and always live ready. I'll talk to you all as Yahweh wills. Shalom. Bye.